getting a horse's head down. Today we're going to talk about how I go about getting a horse's head down. I get a lot of questions about it. How do I do it? And is it necessary? And is it natural? So we're going to address all those issues today. So let's get right into it. I'm Steve Andrews, and this is The Natural Horseman. So what I'm going to show you guys today is my approach. So we've come over to the drawing board, and the main thing I want to emphasize is that getting a horse's head down, and again, this is my method, it's not anybody else's. Maybe it is, maybe you've heard this before, but I'm teaching what I do. But the main thing I want to emphasize is the head to me is just the indicator that things are working or that they're not working. So the head is not what I address. It's the body of the horse, the biomechanics, it's the emotions of the horse. That's what I address. All right, so just real quick, some of the main things that I want to point out is what lateral flexion is, because this is really where I start. Lateral flexion, okay, it's just a bend in the body. And what I'm going to do is kind of show you. Can you see that? Do I need to make that bigger? No. Okay. What I want to show you is, you know, I'm a really good artist, as you guys can see, is lateral flexion to the right. And what I've drawn here is, these are the muscles on the right side of the horse's top line. This is the spine. These are the muscles on the left side of the horse's top line. All right, so this is a bend to the right. The muscles on the right side are flexed to the right. The muscles on the left side are stretching, okay? And that's really important. A really important place to start is to teach your horses to flex and stretch so you can supple this top line. And you do this on both sides and get their top lines really stretching out, really supple. Okay, over time. Yeah, that's a great drawing. But bear with me, guys. But and here, the horse is flexing to the left. So the muscles on the left side of his body are flexing. The muscles on the right side of the body are stretching. Okay, so we have a flex and a stretch. So this is called lateral flexing. Okay, get that by talking, using the reins or using the rope to talk to the back feet. When the back feet step under laterally, you can start to bend the inside of the horse's body. That's the flexing, okay? Now the other part is we want the top line to go like this, from the tail up to the head, down, okay? There's the ears, there's the tail. That's how the head goes down. Once you have the lateral, you can start to build elevation of the top line, where the back goes this way. All right, again, this is just my method. This is how I like to do it. Once I have lateral, then I can step the horse. The horse can engage their hindquarters a little better and step farther up underneath their belly. And when their legs step farther up underneath their belly, they can lift their top line. When their back legs are sprawled out, they're more likely to be hollow in the back, and the head's more likely to go up. All right. Now this is just, this is about as basic as it gets, guys. You've probably heard all this before. I mean, it can get a lot more in depth than that, but geez, if you give me a steak and some salt and some heat, I'll make you something taste damn good. And that's all these horses need, is they need a little steak, a little salt, and a little heat. They just need to know a few simple little things to get this working, to relax. All right, it's not rocket science or anything. Okay, so there's the super basic class on how we're going to get this done. Let's grab a horse and see it in action. So the first horse I have helping me today is Forrest. He's a little 2-year-old quarter horse, and I've got this silly little pen set up here for the next couple weeks because I have, you know, a few 2-year-olds in training. But today we're talking about how I get a horse to put its head down. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. The head's the indicator that the things behind the neck, behind the ears, are either working or not working. All right, so I don't address the head. That's just tells me if something's working or if something's broken. So as he goes around, I'm really looking for this lateral bend in his body. And how I achieve that is just by running through those 5 essential yields that we talked about. If you haven't watched my 5 essential yields videos, you can go way back to the start and watch them. But I just want to point out, as he's moving around, see how he's stepping under with his inside hind. He's stepping under his belly. He's stepping under his belly. Okay, that's that lateral flexion part. If you go back to the drawing board, that's the lateral. It means the left side of his body is flexing, The right side of his body is stretching. Okay, those muscles along his top line, they're stretching. Okay, so if I go like this, these flex, these stretch. All right, that's what he's doing here. That's the lateral part, and we need that on both sides. So push him through, get him going to the right. Now we can flex the right side of his body, stretch the left. All right. Now if he's having a hard time with that, what I can do is ask his hindquarters. I can use my rope, okay? Not my stick, but my rope to guide his nose back towards the stirrup to step his hindquarters out. All right, and that's how you teach it. Step the hindquarters out. I'll show it again on this side. I know he's just kind of plugging here. We literally just got him out. Okay, so nice and slow as he's going around. He's flexing the muscles on the left side of his body, stretching on the right. If he were to get high-headed or impulsive or emotional, I would simply take the rein and not pull it towards me, because that'll dump all of his weight on his inside shoulder, but I'll guide his nose towards the stirrup, all right, or towards his hip. But certainly, okay, you need to think about what you're doing here. If I pull this way, I dump all of his weight on his forehand. Okay, that's addressing the head. The head's not the problem. If I want to address the body and get the inside hind stepping under, I need to draw his nose towards the stirrup, get those hindquarters stepping out. Okay, that's the first step to getting that head down. Okay, next I like to just add some forward. All right, and forward doesn't mean fast. Forward means they're moving freely, they're moving rhythmic, and they're driving these back feet up underneath their belly. All right, drive up underneath, up underneath. And the farther those hind feet can reach forward up underneath their belly, the more their top line can go up. Right, when the top line goes up, go back to the drawing board, from tail to the center to the ears, the more you're going to have that rainbow shape where the head starts to drop down. Okay, if those feet aren't driving forward, they're sprawled out, you're going to end up with a hollow back like that. All right, so that's how we are accomplishing that. Now you hear a lot of times, well, I don't see horses out in the wild running around like that. Okay, or what's natural about a horse having its head that low? All right, first of all, horses aren't wild, they're feral. All right, so horses are tameable animals. A horse out on the range, all right, they're looking to survive. All right, we don't want them living in survival mode when they're with people. All right, if they're living in survival mode, they're dangerous. Okay, it's that simple. Now, just because, I shouldn't say it like this. A lot of people haven't experienced, nor do they have the knowledge to help a horse to put its head down. And again, head down's not the goal, or head down's not necessarily the problem. It's the indicator that things are working. If your horse is tight in the body, if their emotions are high, if they're anxious, right, they're going to have a high head. You don't want your horses living like that. Okay? So I like to do what I can, using the head as an indicator to get that head down so the horse can let me know where they're at mentally, where they're at emotionally, where their anxiety is. All right, how well their body's working, how supple are they to my aids. All right, you get those things working, and your horse is available to you. All right, so I hope that clears up some questions for you guys, and we'll take a look at the next horse. So again, this is a different horse, 3-year-old this time. Same thing, use lateral flexion on each side, driving forward. Use the head as an indicator. All right, we're just going to run through this real quick. Lateral flexion, drive forward. Once they start to maintain that on their own, they can have freedom. They don't need small circles forever. All right, we need to get them out on bigger circles. We use those small circles to help us teach the flex, and then we use the big circles to reward it. Okay, when she starts stretching, I'll give her a bigger circle. All right. Same thing up into a lope. I don't want too much pressure on her head going up into the lope. Okay, so pulling on them like that, that's the wrong way to go about it. So if I pull her on her like that, I'm dumping all of her weight on her forehand. Think of that. Think of that halter as a bridle, right? So I'm gonna see if I can activate the bridle and push her up into it. Push her into the bridle. There, that's better. There she goes. Okay. And really, guys, I like to do this with all breeds of horses. Get them flexing, get them stretching. This is an off-the-track thoroughbred. We're in a different costume, but you know, same thing. You get the lateral flexing, get the hindquarters stepping forward. We get that nice stretch through the top line so that we have the ability to collect the horse appropriately. Okay. Here she's going around. I can flex her. Every time I flex, I look for the hindquarters to give a little bit. It's not about her head. Her head's the indicator. That's the hood ornament. All right, so I'm really watching those back feet, especially on a horse that tends to get nervous. Can I influence the back feet? And when she's good, I'll just leave her alone. When she gets distracted, when she's looking at the other horses, when she gets nervous, I'll work on her back feet. Work on her body, and reward the nice good feeling that she's getting. There she goes. Just like that.